Hello dear students, this is Vishal sir from Ikra High School. Today we'll be studying about the fundamental unit of life, cell, in chapter 5, standard 9, NCERT syllabus. As you know that the body of an individual is of complex type, and if we study about the detailed structure of the human body or of any lower organism, we come across many things that make up the body. But at the smallest level, our body is made up of tiny units called cell. Let's learn about this cell in detail. So in the present situation, what you see on your screen in the paragraph, while examining a thin slice of cork, Robert Hooke saw that the cork resembled the structure of a honeycomb, consisting of many little compartments. Now, as the cork is a substance which comes from the bark of the tree, this was in the year 1665 when Hooke made this chance observation through a self-designed microscope. Now the microscope was of a primitive type. It was very different from the microscope that we have at present. Robert Hooke called this boxes cell, as cell is a Latin word for a little room. This may seem to be a very small and insignificant incident, but it is very important in the history of science, as this was the very first time that someone had observed that living things appear to consist of separate units. The use of the word cell to describe this unit is being used till this day in biology. What are living organisms made up of? Now let's see through activity 5.1. Here in activity 5.1, we are going to observe a slice of an onion skin in microscope. Now the microscope that we are going to use is of this type, compound microscope. Here the compound microscope can be divided as the eyepiece, the mirror, the microscope slide, objective lens, and the two adjustments, coarse and fine. So this type of microscope that we are going to use. Now why do we use a microscope? We use a microscope as it enables us to see those things that can't be otherwise seen with the help of the naked eye. It has the property to magnify the objects, and this was discovered by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Now here in this experiment, we have to take a small piece from an onion bulb, and with the help of a forceps, it's a forceps that we use, we can peel off the skin, the upper layer of the onion skin from the concave side of this onion. This layer can be put immediately in the watch glass containing water. This will prevent the peel from getting folded or getting dry. Take a glass slide, put a drop of water on it and transfer a small piece of peel from the watch glass to the slide. Make sure that the peel is perfectly flat on the slide. A thin camel hair paintbrush might be necessary to help transfer the peel. Now we put a drop of safranin solution. Now this type of solution is needed to form or to see the various organelles of the cell on this piece, followed by a cover slip. The cover slip prevents the peel to move from one place, so it stays at the same place. Take care of Take care to avoid air bubbles while putting the cover slip with the help of mounting needle. Ask your teacher for help. We will observe something like this in the microscope. You can see boxes, and in that boxes you can see dots. These dots are actually nucleus of the cell, and the boxes are actually cell. These structures look similar to each other. That signifies that they form a big structure when they are together. It also signifies that onion bulb of different sizes have similar small structure visible under a microscope. Whether you take a big onion or a small onion, whatever may be the shape of the onion, the structure seems visible, similar structure. The cell of the onion peel will all look the same regardless of the size of the onion they came from. These are the basic building units of the onion bulb, which we call cells. So from this we can say that not only onions but all organisms that we observe around are made up of cells. However, there are also single cells that live on their own. A single cell may constitute a whole organism, like amoeba. Amoeba is a single cell organism that performs all its activities through its body. The other three are this: Chlamydomonas, Paramecium, and bacteria. These organisms are called unicellular as they are made up of single cell. Also, there are organisms with many cells and they function differently. Multicellular organisms can be fungus, plants, and animals. These organisms, which are made up of several cells grouped together, are called multicellular organisms. Now, the statement here is every multicellular organism has come from a single cell. The reason is that cells divide to produce the cells of their own kind. So, another phenomenon, all cells does come from a pre-existing cells. This shows that even we, human beings and animals and plants, must be a part of a single cell unicellular organism. Now, in the next part, we are going to see how different cells have their shape and their size. See, the smooth muscle cell is different than blood cell. Blood cell is also different from nerve cell, ovum, bone cell, it's irregular shaped cell, sperm cell, and a fat cell. Now, why are all cells not same? Though we said that the onion, though it may be a large or a small bulb, have the same structure, because the shape and size of the cell are related to a specific function that they perform. Here, all the different type of cells have different functions, and because of their different functions, their shapes are also different. But their shapes are specific, they don't change their shape. But here amoeba have changing shapes. Amoeba doesn't have a fixed body, they keep on changing their body. In some cases, the cell shapes could be more or less fixed and peculiar for a particular type of cell. Nerve cell have a typical shape. So these are the characteristics of a cell. Just like each living cell has the capacity to perform certain basic functions, it is similar to our division of labor. A living cell performs these basic functions. There is a division of labor. It has organelles called cell organelles. The cell organelles are inside the cell and they are meant just like the different parts of human body that perform different functions. So the division of labor is also seen within a single cell. Each kind of cell organelle perform a special function, such as making new material in the cell, clearing up the waste material from the cell, and so on. So you can say that a cell is able to live and perform all its functions because of these organelles. So it is interesting that all cells are found to have the same organelles, no matter what their function is or what organism they are found in. So these are the basic concept of the cell that we are going to study. Now let's see the composition of the cell. Cells have three basic characteristics. They contain plasma membrane that is made up of lipid and protein. They contain genes, genetic material in the form of DNA, RNA containing genes is present. They contain metabolic machinery, cytoplasm, what we are going to study now. So normally the cell has special components called organelles. But how are they organized? They are organized, or we can say the three features of the cell are plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. You can divide a cell in these three parts: plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. The plasma membrane is like a border of a cell which prohibits the entry and exit of materials. Nucleus is the main